glad to see you back. This video right here, I'm going to be showing you how to use Google SketchUp to design the projects, basically any project, but this one I'm going to show you how I did the last one. It'll be really quick, and as complicated as it might seem, especially for the raised panel doors, it's very, very simple. So download it right now, Google SketchUp. You could get the version for free if you want. So go download that and then come back to this video and I'll show you on my screen exactly how to do what I do, how to put it in construction document form so you can bring it to your shop or wherever and even show people. Now the best thing about doing it in 3D on the computer is that you can make changes very quickly, and I think the most important part is to show yourself or clients basically what it looks like before it's done. In that case, they can change the finish, any options, if they want like straight edges or arcs, and it's just so much easier to show them what it will look like before you build it, and it'll save on your time, save on their time, save on costs, and it just makes you look a lot more professional too when you know what you're doing. It's really simple and it's really quick, and it's one of the programs that I actually learned myself just by playing around with it, just like doing carpentry work, and also watching YouTube, just like this video right here. So I'll show you a quick few tips, and we'll go through the whole design process. So let's get started.
Alright, so as you're seeing on the screen right now, this is one of the projects that I've done right here. Basically, just a quick overview, I use shapes, big rectangle right here, octagon right here, and then here I just use some lines just to get a basic shape, and then from there I use my carpentry knowledge to basically make it come to life. So this random shape coming to life. I'm not sure how it looks to you, but it's basically just a simple deck. I mean, the house would be right here, you can see the flashing there, a little planter box, just a different version of a deck. I mean, I don't just want to build or design something that's rectangle, so I added some personal things in here and just experimented with it a bit, and this is what I came out with. You can see it's presented pretty nicely. This one down here is a rendering of it, which isn't the best one. This isn't really a good example, but that basically comes to life a little bit more. This one and also up here. These are called orthographic drawings, so basically it's just looking straight up or straight down on it, as well as this one right here. So in this case, you can put it as a scale. So if I print this out on an 8.5 by 11 sheet, which is standard, if like 1 inch equals 1 inch, obviously it would be way off size, but then 1 inch on paper from here to here actually equals 1 inch of the deck. So let's say if this is 20 feet long and I do like 1/8 of an inch equals a foot or something, then it's more appropriate for here. So as you're seeing here, these are 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. So when you print it out, you can usually measure what you need, and that's just a quick project to show you what you can do on here, but there's so much more that you're able to do, and it's just great. There's actually one project I'll show you right here that I just did for school, and it came out very realistic. I know there's obviously lots for me to learn still, but just to show you what it looks like, things that you can do. This is one of them right here. It's just basically, I didn't make the car or the motorcycle, those were basically things that were downloaded from other people. But basically this whole thing is constructed by myself using lines on SketchUp, adding different textures to it, and that looks pretty photorealistic. So this is what you can do with the program. So now let's get started and actually designing. So right here, when you first open SketchUp, it'll ask you basically like what you want to do. There's different modes for basically inserting numbers. So the one that we want to do is the one that says architectural. So that one will make sure that things are in fractions instead of decimals. So once you click on that, you'll have a screen that looks like this. Few tools I'll basically show you as we go along, but first you'll notice that there's 3 boxes here. The top one, which is entitled to info, middle one is layers, bottom one is shadow settings. Now these are accessed at least on my Mac right here, so check off the first one, second one, and the third one that I mentioned. And then from there, the first thing that we're going to use is a tape measure. So I have shortcuts set up. I did T for tape measure, which if you want to set up, it's under SketchUp, Preferences, and then Shortcuts. You find whatever you want here, and you can see this one, for example, Shift L, and that will send it to another program. So you can make your own shortcuts, so whatever's easier, whatever makes sense for you. And so right now what we're going to do is basically make the side of the cabinet first. This is going to be pretty close to the cabinet that I just built, so I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy, and it helps a lot to see in 3D as I explained in the video before. So the first tool is tape measure. So we get that out under Tools and then Tape. In my case, I press T, and you'll see this ground plane right here. So in this case, see how you could rotate around? This is the Orbit tool actually, and that should be found in Tools also. And basically right now, You could add these shortcuts by right here, customize toolbar. So this one is looking down because I clicked the down button, and this one's looking side to side. You can kind of see like there's a sky there, so you can tell that the bottom part is the ground. So we're going to be working on the ground. In this case, we want to make the shelf width, let's say 16 inches. So we're going to go from left to right 16 inches. So click on this plane right here that you're seeing. You'll notice that dotted line right there. Doesn't matter where you move it, just don't click the button yet. And then enter 16 for 16 on your keyboard. Click enter. And that is 16 inches right there, which is 1 foot 4. So you should have that right there. If you don't get it the first time, just try it a few times. Maybe you're clicking too fast or something, or you didn't enter the number right. Next one, we're going to click right here just because it's perpendicular to it. And we're going to make it, let's say, 34 inches high. So 34, enter, and you have this right here. So click on one corner to the other corner. Make sure that it highlights right there, it kind of snaps onto it, and you have a rectangle right there. Now, one part that people pick up on right away is like what program you used. So in this case, if you print it out by going File Print, people are going to know obviously that this is from SketchUp, and I feel like it has a bad reputation. So in this case, let's make it look a little nicer. So click on Window, go down to Scenes, or I'm sorry, not Scenes, go to Styles. From here, there's different options. I think you should have the endpoint one checked off default, which is that endpoint right there. It makes it kind of like bulge out a little bit. And Profile also. See how it cleaned up the line right there? You can X out of that. And when you're looking down at it, that looks really nice. It's a lot cleaner, and it just makes it look a lot nicer and easier to deal with. You can also change colors in there, so you have like the AutoCAD background if you want black or something, but that's not important. So another quick way to do this rectangle that we first did is click the rectangle button. In my case, I have R for rectangle, or go to Draw, Shapes, and then Rectangle, and you'll have a cursor that pops up like this. Click once, don't click again yet, and for this case, we'll enter 2, and then the foot sign, and then comma, 2, and then the foot sign. So that's 2 foot by 2 foot, enter, and it's right there. So we could have done the same thing for this one, but it just depends, whatever you're more comfortable with, and whatever's quicker for you. So right now, I set a shortcut to get rid of the lines right here because I use them so much that they just get in the way. And you could do that by going up here, like I believe I showed you before, SketchUp Preferences, and there's all the options in there to change them. So in this case, got rid of them right there. And if you double click this, you'll see that it outlines the whole thing. If you click it 3 times, as you'll see later on, it selects everything attached to it. But in this case, when we draw new things, let's say if I draw this right there, I triple click, that selects everything, so now that's attached to that. But I don't want these attached to each other when I start drawing new things, so this one I'm going to make a group. So you could go up here and see where it is if you have a Mac. So in this one, it's under Edit and Make Group, or in my case, I just click on G. And this one you can notice it's on the ground, but this is our side piece, so really quick, get the rectangle tool, make a square, and push-pull button, which you'll see under Tools, and then push/pull. So in my case, I press P, and just bring it up. It doesn't matter wherever, just so you have a basic shape like that. Triple click it, make it a group by clicking G or going up here and making it a group. In this case, we're going to click on this, get the protractor tool, which if you look up here, protractor, it's under Tools, Protractor. So once you select the object that you want to move, you do the shortcut or whatever for protractor, you click once anywhere. In this case, just click right on the shape, click once again right next to it, and see how it's rotating it right there? If I wanted to do it besides that, it's really hard to get it lined up. See how it's going that way and it wants to rotate it that way? It's hard to do it, so a quick tip is to use that, and you can drag it whatever you want. So now we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. So you clicked on the shape, and click once, click twice. We're going to go up like this and insert 90 for 90 degrees, and now it's the side piece that you want. So now double click this. You'll see that it kind of opens it in its own group. Now this means that you're editing this group and you can't click on anything else or edit it because you're just editing this one item here. So now use the push-pull button right here, and you'll see it can go out wherever you want, both sides. In this case, it's 3/4 inch material. So you could do 0.75, or you could do 3/4, or 3/4. Once you have that, click enter, and you'll see that when you get the tape measure tool and you measure it, it's exactly 3/4 of an inch thick. So when you click outside of it, you have that shape 3/4 of an inch thick with the side piece. Now what we're going to do is make this a component. Because the right and left side are the same, basically whatever we do to this piece right here, it's going to mirror on the other side also. So let's make it easier for ourselves. So in this case, we're going to make a component. So you can find component up here, which is under edit and then make component. And you usually want to do that once you make the group, or at least in my case I do. I'm just going to move this up to the ground plane right there. So in my case, I click Z, and that's for component. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Just click Enter for create. You can do it nice and quick. So now that's a component. If you right click on it, you'll see that it says Edit Component. So now you know that it's a component. So in this case, we know that this is going to be, let's say, 30 inches wide. So use the Orbit tool and click on the right side of it, which is right here, and go over this way with your tape measure tool as you're seeing, and enter 3 foot. So you'll see that one is exactly 3 feet wide. But that looks a little bit too big for showing you, so let's just make it 26 inches. So we have 26 inches. So now this one, you could copy and paste it and move it over there, but the easier way is to use the Move tool. So find the Move tool just like I've been showing you, and in this case, with the Mac, I'm pressing the Alt Option key, and you see that little plus right there? That means when you click on one corner of it, once it displays that, basically it's just copying that shape. And if, let's say I put it at 1 foot away from there, I'll type in 1 foot, enter. So that's 1 foot away from where I just added. But it also added on the size of, or actually the thickness. So sometimes you might want to click on different areas or actually add 3/4 of an inch. But you'll figure that out. That's why I use this tape, this guideline actually, as some of you may use in Photoshop. So it's just making sure that your measurements are there, and it's an easier way to just keep track of the right measurements. So also something with that to touch upon right now, when you have that plus button, let's say you move it 1 foot away, before clicking or touching anything else, press Shift 8, which should be the numerical, like that little star thing, so the times button, and then let's say 3, so enter 3 and then enter, and then that repeats it 3 times. You could also, before touching anything else, you could do the, say, times button, I'll call that times 6, and that'll make it 6. So basically you can repeat this as many times as you want to. That's something I didn't learn for a while and I wish people showed me, so I'm making sure to show you that. Another thing, if, let's say this one, we're going to move over there, so let's do that first. So you have the little plus icon, we're moving this right over. See how that green line is right there? That means that it's going straight across. If you have it black, that means that it's on an angle. We don't want to do that. So let's make it on this line right here. It should snap right there. And if you want to, you can add another guideline right here. So you'll see that these are exactly 2 foot 2 inches, which is 26 inches, just like I wanted, away from each other. And let's say you want something right in the middle. Instead of trying to divide things in half, all you have to do is basically copy this shape over here with the Move tool and clicking the option. Windows, obviously, it's a little bit different. Let's see. Click on this right corner right here, and you're going to overlap this shape to the right corner, and then click the backslash key, and let's say 2. So backslash 2, enter, and that's right in the center. If before clicking anything else, you do the same thing, but with the number 3, you'll see that it puts 3 in. 8 puts 8 in. So anything to make your life easier. This is one of those things that you'll use later on when you're doing the program and make things a lot easier. So in this case, I'm pressing Command Z to undo what I just did because I don't want all of the side pieces in there. And I'll show you this component aspect that makes it really nice. So as you notice, when I open this single one up, it's selecting both of them. So anything I do to this, it's going to do on that one. So if I basically take away that shape, it's doing the same thing on there. So let's make the kick one, the toe kick right here. So I'm not too sure what it is, but just for measurements, let's go 3 inches up. So use your tape measure, click on this bottom edge, and then go up 3 inches, enter, and you'll get that one right there. Now make sure you click on this edge right here, not this one back here because that's the other side. And let's say we're going over 3 inches also, so we'll just have a square right there. And you'll notice this is still selected because the group is open. If it's not open, you won't see those little dots right here. So now get the rectangle tool, do the same thing as before, connect the corner to the corner. And sometimes, right now, if I do anything, it's going to do that because you can see this is the one that's selected. So select this one with the select tool, which is up here, or you can find it just by clicking on help and searching for it. And then get the push pull tool, and you can double click this, which right there you saw instead of going 3/4 of an inch the other way, it went the opposite way that I wanted it to. So just go back and you can either move it this way until it kind of shows that transparent thing and then click anywhere, or you could click there, and if you only want a 1/2 inch, 0.5, and it will go right there, so you can make like dados, whatever you want. And once you do it once on here, I'll show you something really quick. If I do a rectangle here and here, I want them all to basically be transparent or cut out. So once this one's cut out, that means that it's subtracting 3/4 of an inch. So if I double click these, it does the same measurement right there. So if you have multiple shapes that you're trying to cut out like that, you could basically, if they're the same thickness at least, just make all the shapes just like this, and then once you do one of them, you could basically, do the others. Nice and simple. So that's a quick overview. So do that on both of them. You'll notice right when I did that, see the one on the right does the same thing. So now you have your two side pieces right here, and the bottom piece we're going to do next. So get the tape measure after deleting our guides, and click on this, or actually double click it. You'll see that the line goes right across. Now this one, make sure that it's closed, so don't have it highlighted like this because we're making a new group, a new component, or actually just a group because it's only one piece. So that, as you can see, is level with the top of the toe kick. And again, this is 3/4 inch material, so do 0.75 or 3/4, and you have that thickness right there. Get the rectangle tool, connect the ends like that. You'll see you have that blue shape right there, which is actually a certain face, which doesn't really matter, but if you're getting more technical into it, you don't want to see the blue face, but that doesn't matter at all. So let's push-pull that and drag it to here. Make sure that it doesn't go to that corner, it goes to the inside as if you were building it. You'll notice you could select it. If you click on it once, it only does the face of it. If you do it twice, it does the face and everything that surrounds it, and 3 times selects anything that's connected to it. In this case, since the other ones right here are components, they're not connected to it, so it's only selecting the shape. So make that a group, in my case clicking G for group, and now you can notice that these are just all separate pieces. So now the top part, you don't even have to make guide marks. You could delete the old ones and get a rectangle tool, and this piece is going to go over the whole top of it. So do the corners just like that, and push pull, go up 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75, or just like we did before. Triple click that, make it a group, and as you can see, we have this piece right here. Now if you want to go crazy and make dados in it, you could do that same thing. That back piece, I just did it simple for building so that you guys don't have to basically like try out anything weird, but basically I'm going in, I don't know, let's see, they go in 1/4 of an inch about, and then they go down about 1/4 of an inch, and then it's about 1/4 of an inch wide. So in this case, see that line right there, how it didn't go where I want it to go? That's why you gotta make sure that you click the guides in the right places, because they're not always aligned with the plane that you want them to be. Plane being this line right here, or that line, so you guys always gotta check for that. So in this case, I'm connecting these, and whenever you're using the push-pull button, sometimes you have to rotate it, so as you're in here before you click, I have the shortcut as C for orbit, so I'm clicking C and using the mouse to rotate around, but I'm not clicking. So in this case, I could go to the top, get my view, click on P for the push-pull button, and you can see it follows you right there. So click on the edge, and that was just a nice, easy way to orbit and make it easy. So you can see that's right there, and this one, it did it on the outside because this is the copy of this. So in order to flip this one over, don't open it up, just click it once, right click, and then you'll see flip along. There's different, basically, like axes that you can flip it along. In this case, see that red one right there? I'm guessing that we're going to flip it there because it'll be 180 degrees to get that dado on the inside. So let's try flip along, components red. That, as you can see, it did it, and it put the toe kick on the other side, so that was wrong. So just keep on trying it until you get it. It's one of those, so it wasn't red. It was green right there. So now both of the outsides are the same, both of the insides are the same. But we're not doing the dados for this. That was just to show you really quick. So Control Z will get rid of those, get rid of the guides. And for building it, I just basically did a big rectangle in the back of it. Nice and easy to cut. Use the push-pull, 1/4 inch /4. Triple click it, make it a group, and now you have this cabinet right here. You can get rid of this because it's kind of annoying me. And now we have this shape right here, which was basically the first part of the project. So just like we did for this bottom shelf, we'll do the same thing here to get 3/4 of an inch. If you want, you could double click here to start that guide that you're seeing, but you don't have to. Just go over here, 3/4, rectangle, connect the corners, push pull, and go on the inside right there. Triple click it, make it a group, and now you can see we have that together. Now this part right here, we're going to be using the offset tool. Sorry if I'm going quick, but once you get the habit of this, it's really easy, and it's only knowing a few commands. So if you want to customize the toolbar, and it shows pictures, so like when I say push pull, you'll notice that it's this thing with an arrow. So you could find it right up here and just click on it. But once you get to know what it is, like P for push, I just click P, and it's like second nature to do that. So in this case, let's get the rectangle tool, and we're going to be tracing over the front of this for the face frame. So you'll see it close that off. So now we're going to use the offset tool. So usually you should select this first using the select button. You can double select it, sometimes you don't have to. And offset, I have it as O for offset. And this is something that I believe AutoCAD does, is instead of actually trying to like just get shortcuts, you can start entering what you want to do. But in this case, if you type like OFF, it's not going to pop up as offset, so you just have to find it or get the shortcut for it. So in this case, you'll see if we click on the center, it's offsetting it equally on all 4 sides, either inside or out. So in this case, I made the face frame 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches, so let's just do 1.5. That's 1.5 inches. But since that's only one shape, you can see, although you see the lines through it, that's really its own shape, and it's not really having all these lines that it shows. In this case, just to make it easier, I'll show you some things that we can do to clean up this and basically make it a little easier to work on different aspects of it. So this one, let's make what we just did with the offset, triple click it, make it a group. And then this one, we're going to do face frame. So under this right here where it says layer, enter face frame. Click enter, and you'll notice that it pops down here in the layers. Now when you uncheck this, it's not visible anymore, it's hidden, but it's still there. So if you move all of this, for example, over here, this is going to pop up where it was before and not attached to that. So something to keep in mind. So now I can get rid of it easily. So in this case, let's do it to each piece. So this one, top, enter. This one, back. The side pieces, you can actually group them together right now if you want to. So click on one, click on shift so that you can select another one at the same time, and then group them together. You can right click and do group, or find it up in the menu button or the shortcut. Do these sides, bottom, right here. This is really essential when you're doing bigger projects because it gets really confusing, and also when it takes up a lot of space, it goes really slow if you have everything showing at once. So this one, we'll put toe kick. So let's get rid of all of these so that none of them are visible besides the face frame. So we have this face frame right here, and you know that this back edge is sitting right on top of the piece that we just created. So let's open that by double clicking. The center piece, you could click once, not twice, because if you click twice, it'll get rid of it like that, and basically you took away the offset. So click on it once, delete to get rid of that, and push pull, you're going to be going in this direction. And that's because when you see the sides visible, this face frame is going out this much. Now it's 3/4 of an inch thick, so let's do that. Enter, and now you'll see that that's sitting on top right there, and that's there because when the top piece goes on, it's nice and flush. And obviously when you're building, you can be doing 45s. In this case I used MDF, so I basically did the 2 sides at the full length, as you saw. So I basically went from here to there. So that line is basically going from like the 1.5 inches inside to the 1.5 inches inside here for how I get the measurement. So now that we have that, you can make everything visible if you want to, just so you can see how it's coming together. I hope you're following along. This is really simple so far. At least for me it is, because I use it every day. One thing I didn't mention though, save it as much as you can, just because it's really important. If you just, sometimes your computer freezes, sometimes this will freeze, and once you do a lot of work and you learn something or have a great idea, it'll quit and you'll just lose your whole project. So now that we have this right here, we're going to be making the doors. So let's do this again, the rectangle. because we want the doors offset equally around the whole thing. So trace this whole face frame. Make sure, see how that black line is there? It's not really pointed on there. Make sure that you get that purple dot or something showing you that it's really like locking on to that edge right there. So now that you have this rectangular tool, we're going to select that, double select it, or just click on it, and we're going to use the offset tool. Now let's say, depending on the hinges, which doesn't really matter right now, let's just go 0.5, which is half an inch. 0.5, enter. And let's triple click this, make it a group, and then get rid of everything once we add a name to this. So we'll make this doors, click enter, and make everything else invisible besides this, just so you can concentrate on what we're working on. So double click this group to open it, and you'll notice that you have basically like the half-inch offset. So we're going to use the eraser tool, which is a new one. It should be under tools, eraser, or in my case E. Click on each line on that way outside to get rid of it, because that's the half-inch reveal that we want around the face frame. So see how that looks right there? This is our shape, that's the face frame. So if you look at it, clicking on these, you can see basically it has that reveal all the way around it. So let's take off the face frame. Sometimes you make one by mistake, so you can just delete this. See like that S right there? I believe that's supposed to be doors, so just click on it on the group, and then you can rename it here. Sometimes it'll pop up, just click enter, and then you can just delete this one with the minus button. So to keep this organized right here, that's very important. That's another thing I didn't learn for a while. So now that we have this, we're going to divide this in half. So let's see. You can do this many different ways. Tape measure, if you click on this edge and drag it over, you'll see that it goes right there, which is halfway. You can also use the rectangle tool, and it will snap the same way. Line tool, which I'm not sure we used yet. It's tools and line, and you can make squares, whatever you want, any weird shapes like that. And those also lock on halfway points. So click on the halfway point at the top, and at the bottom, you'll have a line dividing it in half right there. So that's one way to do it. So now click on the tape measure, or get your tape measure out. Click on that line right there, and we're going to be going over 1/16 of an inch. So just to, let's see, you can even do an eighth or whatever, but we'll do 1/16. So 1/16, and you'll see you have to zoom in right there. Do the same thing on the right side, and you'll notice that one right there. So now we use the rectangle tool, and we'll connect this corner to the one down here, because this is the space in between the doors that we want to get rid of. So use the eraser tool. If you click on all three like that, if you get in the center, that does that a little quicker. Delete this one up top. Now you notice that these are separate. If you triple click, they're separated, so they're not going to be doing anything to each other. And we're going to make these components also, so that whatever we do here, it goes here also. So double click one, get rid of it, and you'll notice that we have this one right here. So now for this, what I did is I made a separate file, which you see right here, with different moldings. I have some hinges, some things that I usually use. So in this case, I basically found something online, I believe, for different molding profiles, some I made myself. And this is the one that we're going to be using. So I'm going to select these, copy them. You could just trace these out as you're looking right now, depending on what kind of router bits you have or what profile. If you want, I mean, this one will just be like a regular rectangle for like the inset doors. It'll look something like that. Same process, but you could copy things from file to file and move them. So I clicked on this, which is a group right here, because you can see it's selected in blue. Copying it, moving it over to this one, and basically pasting it in. Don't paste it in on this, because if you paste it in on this, I'll show you. Actually, since it's a group, it doesn't matter, but if it's not a group, and you try to move it, it's going to take that shape with you. So whenever you paste something in, just paste it off to the side where you can see it. Just like that, we're going to rotate it. If you rotate it using the tool, clicking there and then here, it really like goes out of your direction. So try to click on one of the points on it, and then another point, and you can rotate it, and it stays within like view of you, and it rotates, or actually pivots on that one angle. So in this case, 90 degrees, because that's the front, and that's the profile that we're going to use. So drag this corner right here onto this edge. It'll kind of snap. And explode is another thing where you can find. that is under here, edit, group, and then explode. You can even right click on it and see explode. I have a shortcut because I use it a lot. Now explode basically, I mean I guess it's not as obvious with the name, but explode, it basically takes away the group from it. So see, this is a group, it's highlighted in blue. If I do explode, it basically ungroups it. So now that it's grouped back up, because I did Control Z when I showed you that, I'm going to do that to this one right here. Don't start this on the edge down here, start it like halfway right there, explode it, so to make sure that both are kind of like that, which is basically showing that they're all connected together. So now we're going to double click on the shape right here, which selects the whole outside of it, and we're going to use the Follow Me tool. This is an awesome tool that a lot of people don't know how to use. It's under Tools, Follow Me. So in this case, select the outside, which is selecting the perimeter. F for Follow Me. Click on this. See what that just did? You have a face frame going all the way around. Now obviously this won't calculate how you have like the style and rail set, which is right there. You could do that, but that's really not necessary for what you're trying to do here. I mean, you figure that out yourself in your building, and you have the overall width and everything that you need. So we'll do the same thing with this. This one's a little tricky to get right sometimes, just because it kind of wants to go its own direction, so just play around with that. And you'll see it looks really weird right here, because this is transparent, these are blue. That's something to worry about in another section, but basically we're going to use the rectangle tool and fill in this little like void that's right here. So make sure you don't select the inside, select the outside and the outside. And you'll see that it's all basically filled in. So now select all, so I'm doing Command A, or on Windows it'd be like the window sign and then A. Or you could do File, select all, or actually Edit, select all. And then I have B for colors, which if you look for it, it's another palette that stays open sometimes, and it's also up here with other ones. That'll open this right here. There's different options. If you want this to look like bricks or something, which there's no reason we would, just to show you that those are there, those are there. The first one that we're going to be using is just the crayons right here, simple, just white. If you want to make it gray, black, whatever kind of design you want, I'll make it just white because everything else is white by default. So in that case, that little transparency that we had before, now you can see it's all solid. And this is the door right here. I mean, it basically does a really good job. The back of it though, you want to do the same rectangle part just to enclose it in and make that white. And this one's usually in about like an eighth, so you can put that in an eighth if you want to, just to get it more realistic, but you don't have to. So now you can see, I mean, that's basically how this is going to look when you construct it. So that's that. And the next step we're going to be doing is basically adding this, or you don't even have to add it because it's already in place for where you want it. I'm not sure why I did that. Sometimes it does crazy things, you have to kind of go back, and that's another good reason to save it, because sometimes you mess up something really bad and you have to go back to the file. So if you mess it up, just exit out, do not save it, and open the file you had before, and maybe it's the way that you thought you left it. So in this case, I'm going to make this a component. So just click Z or whatever you have for component, or find it in the menu option, enter, nice and quick. Use the move tool. In this case, I'm pressing Alt, so I have the plus, and I'm moving this over. And if you align it with this edge, you can see that it's 1 foot and 7/16, but we want an eighth of an inch over, so let's add 2/16 in this case, since it's in that common denominator right now. So we'll put 1 foot and 9/16, 1 foot, and then 9/16, no spaces. Click enter, and that has an eighth of an inch gap that we accounted for right there in between. So now if I change this color when I open one, since it's a component, make it a very sexy green color, because everyone loves that for their kitchen cabinets, then you see that it does it to both of them. So components are a really great part when you're doing woodworking and designing things. And now if you basically check everything so it's visible, see that you have this cabinet taking place, and it's basically done. A few other things, shelves, shelf pins, those are another things that you can do. And even exporting this so you can see it in different views. For example, the side view. Quick way without using an external program, because that will take more time to show you, and this is a quick video. Go to camera, and then instead of perspective, which is basically rotating it around and seeing it as you would, click on camera and then parallel projection. You'll notice that it's distorted. But when you click on these, which I actually got by right-clicking up here and customizing my toolbar, it shows you different views. So now if I'm going to the front view, which it should be, so I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees, selecting all of it, just let these line up with it. See the front view right there? Side view. So if you get the tape measure out, you could print this out if you want to. You could add different things on here. I think there's one where you could add measurements. I don't usually do that on here because I use a certain program. Dimensions. So if you find dimensions, you could easily click the point to the point, drag it up there, and just print it off just like this, and it'll print it out. That's a nice quick way to do it before you learn another program. So we'll change this to perspective, and we'll see this right here. And we want to make this more lively, so let's open up the doors. So in this case, they're separate, so the doors pivot on this corner right here. So make sure that this protractor is aligning on that edge right there. Not like this, but like this. So click on the edge right there. Doesn't matter where else you click, usually just click the end of it, and you could swivel it open just like that. We'll do this one a little bit too, again selecting the edge that you want to pivot it on, and we'll open it up like that, so now you can see that you have your cabinet open. If you don't want the doors, if they're in the way when you're doing the inside, uncheck doors. In this case, they lost the attribute to them, so select them again, go up here, enter, and now they're hidden. So we're going to do the shelf pins really quick, which is optional. I mean, basically you finish this whole thing if you got this far. So great job. So let's see, this one, let's say we want to start them up 10 inches just like I did before. And we're going to probably just go up about here because you don't want the shelves too high because then you can't fit anything. And we're going to put them 2 inches from the back and maybe 3 inches from the front. If you want to, you could use section cut. It's actually, I have it set up as Shift S, which puts this shape right here. That's another thing useful too. And you can find it under Preferences, Shortcuts, Section Plane actually, so I had that right here. So basically you can see it aligns to whatever face it's on, like that. So click on this face, use the Move tool. When this is selected, you'll notice it's a different color. And you can basically like get a section cut looking inside of this. It's still in 3D. If you want to use these tools to basically like see the thickness of it when you print it out or like that, that's another technique too. And you can see the thickness of the material, so that really helps out. You could print it like that if you want to, Control P, and add the dimensions to that if you want to. To get rid of it, you just go to the Select tool, click on it, delete it, and it's back to normal. But right now, we're going to be doing the shelf pin holes. So this blue line is actually fine right there, just happened to be where I want it, but it's actually bothering me, so let's move this over. I'm actually going to keep there because then the doors, like I said before, will be misaligned when we make them visible again. So open this group right here. Sometimes with the section plane, so you kind of got to go around it to get in the right area. You have to zoom in past it first, and that's why I don't like using it sometimes, or if you do use it, you have to make sure that it's only as much as you need, which is right there. In that case, when we zoom in, we can see what we need. You can see there that it's kind of like entering inside of the shape. Open this so that you can see the dotted lines on it, which means again that we're inside of the group. And we're going to use the circle tool, and that should be Draw, Shapes, and Circle. When you do this, when you first select it without clicking anything, you notice that it says sides down here. If you want to do like an octagon or something, 8 sides, click in 8, enter, that's how many sides it has, and you'll see that it puts in a shape like that. If you want it to be a very crisp circle, in this case, it doesn't even matter, just do 25 so you don't have to click anything. So just get the circle tool, and get 25, that's just the default. And the first one's going to be right, let's make them right here. Sometimes when you're actually inside the group, I made these measuring marks before, so you can make them again, just so that they're on top of the shape and I'll click to it. So this will basically snap on to the, right there, just like that. And they're going to be an 1/8, so when you're doing this, it's the radius of it, and like the diameter. So if you want it 1 inch big, you do 0.5, so that's 0.5 on each side, and it really makes it a 1 inch circle. So you can see 1 inch. So in this case, we're going to do 1/4 inch holes, so do 1/8. So circle tool, click on it, 1/8, enter, and you have that hole right there. Now double click this so that you only get the circle right there. Get the move tool, the Alt or whatever button it is on your Windows computer to move it just like that so it copies it. And let's say move it up 3 inches. So click 3, enter, zoom out without clicking so you can see where it is. Then we're going to do like that times button, which is Shift 8 for me. And we're going to do it, let's say 5 times, see how it looks. You can see it went just about right where I wanted it. So now we can copy all of these and we can move them over, or you can do the same process you did here on the other side. In this case, let's just select them all. So I'm holding down Shift and double clicking on all of them. If you accidentally click over here, just don't let go of Shift, just click it again and it will deselect it. So now, with all these selected, we'll do the move tool, Alt, and then move them over where we want them. So right here, make sure that it stays on the red line, which is meaning that it's on the same face. Let's just do 10 inches and enter. And push pull, we know that our this is 3/4 of an inch thick, so we're not going to go past 3/4 because then it will come out like that, and that's not what we're looking for. So click on the push pull and go in 1/4 of an inch, so 1/4 or 0.25, enter. And now all you have to do is double click on every single one that's there, and it will make them in 1/4 of an inch. This isn't really necessary because there's really no reason why you would have to show this on the drawing unless you're trying to impress a customer, show them like how it will look. But if you're just doing it for yourself, you don't need the actual measurements for the depth and stuff of these. But it does help to show when you're trying to make something look nice and just show a client what you're going to be looking for. So now you'll notice if we exit out of this, click on this, delete it, get rid of it, get rid of our guides. That this one is now on the outside because, like before how I flipped one of them backwards, I actually took off the dado and I pressed Ctrl Z to back up too many times. So we'll flip this one again, I believe it was the green face, and you'll see now these are both on the inside. So that's it, you have your shelf right here and everything here. Like I showed you before, the dimensions, if you only want to get the top piece, you could basically just click on this button that looks like the top of the house and go to camera, parallel projection, and I get the measurements of that easily. You can see the 1/4 inch back piece, 3/4 inch face frame, and if you want to get rid of the doors or something, just do the same process. And if you want just the top piece by itself, get rid of the back, get rid of the face frame. Now you have that little square right there. You can do the same thing with the front. If you notice, if you're trying to see the front right now, the doors are open, so you either want to close the doors to see how it will look, or just unselect it, and then you have like the face frame, everything that you need. So that's how to do that, and if you have any questions, comment below. This was a simple video, but honestly it took me a while to learn all of this and get comfortable with it. So if you're a little behind, don't worry, but I feel like this is a great tutorial to show you guys how to use SketchUp, how to basically introduce your construction projects into the computer, print it out, and just be organized, save them all into one file.
Alright, how easy was that? And look what we accomplished. We got so much done and it just looks amazing. I hope this really helps you out doing your construction projects, or even if you're not going to do it, I hope that it opens your eyes to show you what techniques are out there if you're not familiar with them. I had a great time teaching you guys, and I hope that you learned something. I post videos every week at least, so make sure to click the subscribe button below and stay updated on anything that I post, because just as time goes on, I'll post more awesome things to show you guys new things. So follow me on Twitter also, I'm on Instagram, you can see the latest projects that I'm working on. Basically just stay updated with myself. Make sure to comment below, share your pictures, let me know how it's going, and ask anything that you want, because I'm here for you, and I'll show you anything that I can to help you out with these projects that I'm basically teaching you about. I hope you guys learned something, and until next time, be safe, have fun, and stay busy.